Hola y bienvenido a mi canal. Hello and welcome to my channel. In today's lesson we're gonna have a look at 10 essential phrases that you need to learn before you set your foot in Spain or any other Spanish-speaking country to sound like local. As well, I'm gonna give you 5 bonus phrases before you go on travel that you're most definitely gonna use because they're most essential 5 questions that you need to know how to ask when you're traveling to any Spanish-speaking country. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started our lesson. So our number 1 phrase to learn is how to ask, what time does it open or close? What time does it open or close? Very important phrase for you to learn because you never know what time the shops or restaurants or museums are open or closed in Spain because they tend to observe siesta. So in Spanish you need to ask ¿a qué hora abren? What time does it open? Or if you want to know what time does it close, you would need to ask ¿a qué hora cierran? ¿A qué hora cierran? ¿A qué hora cierran? What time does it close? So let's repeat those phrases again. ¿A qué hora abren? What time does it open? And ¿a qué hora cierran? What time does it close? Our number 1 phrase to learn before you go to Spanish-speaking country is to know how to ask what time does it open or what time does it close. As you may know, Spanish do tend to observe siesta, so this is a midday break where most of the shops, little corner shops, museums, even maybe some restaurants close. So it will be very useful for you to know so that you don't get any nasty surprises to know what time exactly the restaurant that you want to go or the shop that you want to go opens or closes. So to ask this, you would need to say in Spanish, ¿a qué hora abren? ¿A qué hora abren? What time do you open? And if you want to know what time do they close, you would need to say, ¿a qué hora cierran? ¿A qué hora cierran? What time do you close? Our second most useful phrase for you to know is to know how to say, are these complementary? As you may know, tapas in Spain actually come complimentary when you buy a drink. So it's not like in the UK when you have to spend a lot of money to get your tapas. In Spain, in some places, tapas come free with the drink that you are getting. So for you to be able to actually ask it and benefit from these free tapas, you would need to ask, ¿son gratuitas? ¿Son gratuitas? Are these free? Are these complimentary? ¿Son gratuitas? ¿Son gratuitas estas tapas? ¿Son gratuitas? Are they free? And hopefully you're going to enjoy some free tapas when you are away in Spain. So our number 3 phrase that we're going to have a look at is how to say, when is admission free? So you're on a holiday and you're most likely to actually go to a gallery, to a museum, and sometimes you need to pay for entrance fee, of course, but you would be glad to know that in Spain there are some days where you don't have to pay for your ticket. So they're admission free days. So before you buy your ticket, it's better to actually check whether you need to buy a ticket or for what day you can actually go there for it to be free for you. So how to ask this in Spanish is, ¿cuándo es la entrada gratuita? ¿Cuándo es la entrada gratuita? ¿Cuándo es la entrada gratuita? When is admission free? And I will tell you which day and times this is going to be. Our number 4 phrase for you to learn how to ask is, this is for all the salsa dancing enthusiasts. If you're desperate to go dancing and to practice your salsa in a club, in a bar, you would need to ask, of course, you would need to know where can you go to actually have a go and dance a bit. To ask this in Spanish, you would need to ask, ¿dónde podemos ir a bailar? ¿Dónde podemos ir a bailar? And if you're particularly enthusiastic about practicing new salsa steps that you have learned in your class, then you would need to say, ¿dónde se puede ir a bailar salsa? ¿Dónde se puede ir a bailar salsa? Where can we go salsa dancing? Where can we go dancing? And our number 5 phrase is to ask how to say this in Catalan, Galician, or Basque. As you know, there are actually 3 other languages than Spanish that are spoken in certain regions in Spain. So to ask this, you would need to say, ¿cómo se dice en Catalán? For Catalan, region of Catalonia. ¿Cómo se dice en Gallego? For Galicia region. And ¿cómo se dice en Euskera? For Basque region. Let's move on to the next part of this video, and this is how to sound like a local. Of course, you're learning a new language, you're making an effort to learn a new language, and you're most likely to want to sound like a native speaker. And I have perfect 10 phrases for you to learn before you go on holiday to Spain or any other Spanish-speaking country, so that you can actually sound like a native speaker. Our number 1 phrase is to know how to say what's up. This in Spanish is ¿qué pasa? ¿Y qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? This phrase you can actually use instead of saying ¿cómo estás? Or instead of saying ¿qué tal? You can say ¿qué pasa? It has the same meaning. So when you meet someone, you can say Hola, ¿qué pasa? Hello, hi, what's up? Our second phrase that we're going to have a look at is how to say great in Spanish. So when you're having conversation and you would usually kind of have a reaction on what someone else is saying, you can use different phrases, different words to sound a bit more like a native, to sound more like a local speaker. One of them is to say great, that's great. And in Spanish that would be genial, genial. Great. You could also say how cool, if you like the idea. In English you would say how cool. In Spanish you would say qué guay, qué guay. This is actually a phrase that Spanish speakers use a lot, so you better note it down and don't forget it before you go on your holiday abroad. The other most common phrase is to say that's fantastic. In Spanish is estupendo, estupendo, that's fantastic. So when you're really enthusiastic about something and you would like to emphasize that, you can say in Spanish, estupendo, estupendo, that's fantastic. If someone is saying to you some news that you're a bit shocked or surprised about what they're saying, you can say, ¿en serio? ¿En serio? Really? ¿En serio? Really? Or you can also say, no me digas. No me digas. You don't say that. No me digas. You don't say that. If you're agreeing with the speaker who you're talking to and you want to say sure or okay, you can say seguro. Seguro. Or if you want to say okay, that would be vale. Vale, when you're agreeing on something. The other way of expressing your agreement is to say por supuesto, por supuesto, por supuesto, of course. And if you're not interested in what someone else is saying, you can simply say lo que sea, ay, lo que sea, whatever, lo que sea, whatever. Okay, that's all the 10 phrases to sound like a local I have for you for today. I hope you found the content interesting and useful. Of course, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to my lessons, and hit this notification bell so that you don't miss your next Spanish lesson. And see you next week. Hasta luego! Hasta luego!